Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Poisonous People. We are continuing our seemingly never-ending mini course on gaslighting. This mini course was originally intended to be 5 videos, but it is now planned to be a total of 9, partially because I've gotten some questions in my previous videos that I wanted to expand on, and partially because some of the videos that I had originally planned were getting a little bit too lengthy, and so I've decided to chop some of those videos up. So this video is actually an extension of the previous video, 5 things that are not gaslighting. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing the real dangers of everyday gaslighting. Classic, old school, traditional gaslighting is seen as a process that has to occur over time in order to be successful. In today's modern day and age, people are accepting short, brief social interactions to fall under this label of gaslighting, and it's often called everyday gaslighting. I personally feel that there are some real dangers when it comes to everyday gaslighting. And the reason is because gaslighting's sinister reputation remains to this day, but the examples of gaslighting have been watered down. And because we are applying this very sinister reputation to behavior that is really not all that sinister, we are seeing some real problems when it comes to everyday relationships. And as a therapist, I have seen broken relationships, a decreased trust in others, increased suspicion and paranoia that other people are out to get me, increased obsessions about gaslighting, people thinking that every little thing is gaslighting. So with these first 4, let me just say that the real dangers in everyday gaslighting, in my opinion, is not that you are actually being gaslighted. The real danger to you is that you are becoming more paranoid or obsessed with this issue. So I'm going to give you an example of what everyday gaslighting might look like. Let's say that I go to McDonald's or some other fast food place, and as my order comes ready to eat, I notice that one of the French fries fell off the tray and onto the countertop. Now, falling on the countertop, that's not as dirty as the floor, but I don't know when was the last time that they cleaned the counter. I don't know how dirty the counter is. And to make matters worse, let's say that the fast food worker picks up the French fry with their bare hands and just puts it back on my plate and then serves me the food. Let's say I said, hey, can you give me new fries? Because I saw that fry fall on the floor and you touched it, and now I just feel like the fries are contaminated. Can you please give me new fries? Now, let's say that 17-year-old fast food worker says to me, oh, no, I didn't, that didn't happen. Or, no, that was my pencil that you saw on the counter. In old school gaslighting, that is not considered gaslighting. That would actually be probably considered number 1 in my previous video. That's just an example of lying. Or we might say that that's number 5, that is, just some 17-year-old worker trying to engage in denial for the purpose of self-preservation. This person wants to keep their job. They're not trying to abuse me. They're not trying to pull one over on me. Maybe they're going to think that I'm going to get them in trouble or I'm going to get them fired. And so this is why they're covering. But in modern day gaslighting, this might possibly be considered an example of everyday gaslighting. And the danger here is that I could, over time, start to see gaslighting where gaslighting is not present. So I can't go to a store, I can't go out in public without thinking that everybody is out to get me. I start to become very obsessed, very paranoid about this issue, and I even see it in the relationships that I've established, which are healthy and trustworthy. And this puts those relationships in jeopardy. Whether somebody is actually guilty of this or not, you're not actually going to get very far by accusing them of gaslighting because A, if they did it, they're not going to admit it. And B, if they didn't do it, they're not going to admit it. So you're not really going to get anywhere with that person. What real harm did I suffer because a 17-year-old fast food worker said, oh, no, that French fry never fell. What harm is happening to me? He just lied. And suddenly lying has taken on a heightened interpretation for people. And what that does is it causes a greater sense of offense in the mind of the person who perceives that they are being wronged. So the first four are common results that I have seen in my own clients, that they can't even leave the house without thinking that people are out to get them because they've become so hyper aware of this gaslighting phenomenon. But there are two more on this list that we haven't talked about. And that is that in some cases, the concept of abuse is lost. And this happens a lot when people only look at the signs that somebody might be gaslighting you and not putting those signs into context. So when we watch videos or we read blog articles that say things a gaslighter might say, or 10 phrases that people use when they're gaslighting, yeah, I mean, people do use these phrases when they're gaslighting, but they're also using those phrases when they're not gaslighting. True gaslighting victims are becoming upset that their experience is being glossed over and minimized because gaslighting just ain't what it used to be. And so many people are using this term in such a way today that it does minimize the very serious, very abusive experience of survivors of this type of abuse. And so that's why I'm very passionate about this topic as a survivor of this type of abuse myself, but as a therapist who wants so much to see people heal, it's difficult to watch people feel as if their experience is kind of just being dismissed and turned into a pop culture phenomenon or a pop culture craze. And so that's really where my heart is as far as making this video. And hopefully this will help many of you get a little bit more clarity on this term. I'm Jen Guerriero, and this is Poisonous People. See you in the next video.